Book number 1, Getting Things Done by David Allen. So this book is very beginner friendly, and to a level where I would recommend that if anyone is getting started with their productivity journey, this is the first book that they need to be reading. So this speaks about a very simple framework called capture, clarify, organize, review and engage, right? So anything that you have in mind needs to go into one of these lists, your to-do list, and each of this need to be kind of followed up with one of the actions, right? So this changed my mind from a front that brain is not to store information, because a lot of times I keep thinking that, oh my god, okay, this is a great idea for a video, or this is a great idea to implement. Oh, I have this to do. Okay, you know what? I'll complete this while I'll remember this. So what if the practical strategy that I have started implementing is I have a small notepad that I always have in my desk. So at any time a thought occurs, I just write it down, and then I get back to doing what I was doing. So what it does is two things. One, it removes that thought out of my mind, and two, it helps me work deeper with my headphones on and all that, which we are going to be covering in later part of this video. So this is a great book if you're someone who's just getting started with organizing yourself, time management, or how to organize your information and your thoughts better. Great read. Book number 2, Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy. Again, this is a splendid read for someone who has a list of to-dos but doesn't know where to get started. So what Brian Tracy says is, if you have a list of to-dos that you want to accomplish, do the most difficult task the first thing when you start your work, right? And this is something that I've actively started employing for the last 1.5-2 years, because the most difficult tasks takes up a lot of our mind space. Even though we might be accomplishing a lot of easier things around us, the one thing that's going to take up a lot of our mind space is something that we never end up accomplishing. And doing that first thing in the morning, or whenever you start your work, frees up a lot of mind space for me, and personally for me it gives a sense of accomplishment. So a great book if you're someone who is a working professional and finds it difficult to prioritize things. This is a good start for you. So the third book is Hell Yeah or No by Derek Sivers. So I wouldn't put this in exactly in the productivity category, but I just like the central philosophy of this book, which revolves around the fact that unless something is a hell yeah, you shouldn't be doing that, right? So a lot of things in life we keep saying yes to, and what we don't realize is all the things that we say yes to takes the valuable time away from things that we should be doing or could be doing, right? For example, for the longest time I said yes to a lot of things, ensuring that I compromised on my YouTube journey, I compromised on my family time, I compromised on a lot of other things that I could be doing. But only after I read this book I realized that I'm going to say yes to things or people only if it's a hell yeah, which is I'm supremely excited, where I feel like every time I think about this task or a project or the person, if my excitement level is above 90%, which is very subjective, I'm going to say yes, or else my default answer is a no. The fourth book is Work Clean by Dan Charnas. So this was gifted to me by my friend. So this speaks about the power of organizing your work to get things done. And personally, a lot of project management tools like Asana or Basecamp or a lot of other tools have this the Kanban kind of an approach that employs this tactic, which is before you start your work or a very big project, you break down that big project into smaller tasks and then line them up to completion, right? For example, how a master chef would go about their job. So a master chef, before they start their cooking, they would have all their preparation done, they would have miso in place. So this book draws a lot of parallel between how a master chef goes about their work and then how you could employ that to your everyday work. So, and I employ this especially for very big projects which are quite intimidating. Let's say if you're planning your wedding, or if you're planning a big project at work, or if you're planning like a big overhaul of your business or whatever it is, it helps to just sit down, break down these tasks, prepare well before you go and attack the bigger elephant in the room. So this is a good book, especially if you're someone like me who sucks at organizing things. Book number 5, The One Thing by Gary Keller. A very good book. This is slash productivity, at least I treat it as a slash philosophy book as well, where the central theme of the book is around the fact that 80% of your results come only from 20% of the things that you do. In fact, the author goes on to speak about how when he learned the guitar, he learned only 2 strings or 2 chords where 80% of the, which are used in around 80% of the songs, right? Similarly, a lot of YouTubers keep saying that, hey, 80% of their views come only from 20% of their videos. So this applies to pretty much everything and anything and everything in life. So it's important that you go and attack the 80% leverage stuff in order for you to save time and be productive, right? So this book revolves around that central theme. So whenever we think about project time management, we end up having a lot of things on our to-do list which are frankly not that important, whereas there will be that one project or one task or one thing that's going to move the needle, or that's going to ensure that 80% of our time is freed up. So ensure that you're focusing your effort on that project or that initiative rather than doing a lot of smaller things around it, because more often than not, your results are going to be driven by that one needle mover. And if you're a creator like me, you can increase that chances of getting those views by producing a lot of videos. So this is a very, very, very good book, and I wouldn't recommend this to someone who's just getting started with productivity. Probably if you've been in the journey, you've done some stuff, a good book to kind of get some perspective. The next book we have is Hyper Focus. Again, I would call it the first cousin of deep work, because this speaks about how our mind's attention is very, very limited, and how we need to kind of merge the deep work that we do to our attentional space that we have in our mind, right? So mind, and the ability of a mind to do deep work, like most things in life, is very, very limited. So what we need to ensure is to cut down the distractions while we are doing that work and fill our attentional space with that work that we want to accomplish. In fact, this is not even the the takeaway that I took away from this book. The biggest takeaway for me was to set the intention of what you want to accomplish from before you start a deep work. Because more often than not, at least for me, what used to happen is, I'll have a 2-hour working session, but I'll end up being very, very unproductive, because I'll be scattered around research, I'll be scattered around creating new templates, I'll be scattered around review, and at the end of 2 hours when my beep goes off, I wouldn't be distracted, but at the same time I wouldn't have accomplished what I wanted to. So what I now have started doing very actively is, I just write what I want to accomplish at the end of my working hour and then move towards it. So any activity that I'm doing, I just focus myself back to asking, hey, is this going to help me accomplish my goal or my intention that I set out to do, right? A great book, especially if you're someone who struggles with completing what you started in your deep working session. The next one we are going to speak about is digital minimalism. Again, I am a strong believer that in order for you to get back your time, it's not just important to kind of optimize what you do, but it's also important to cut down on a lot of things that suck away your time. And this book is kind of helping me. I'm still work in progress when it comes to moderating my digital consumption. I'm still doing it, but this book has kind of made me understand the importance / the negative effects of too much social media consumption, right? So what I've now started doing is I've started taking more focused and more informed decisions about what I consume from social media, and also ensuring that I limit the overall time for which I consume. Again, as I said, I haven't mastered it, but what I realized is, as I limit the time spent on each app, I'm suddenly like, oh my god, okay, I have so much time. What else can I do in these times? So this is a great, a great book if you're someone who's just wanting to cut down your social media time. The next work that we are going to be seeing is Deep Work. Again, a great book if you're someone who's just can't focus on a lot of things. So as I said, this is it's like a more researched version of Hyper Focus, which speaks about a simple thing that human mind is not built for multitasking, and the more you leverage it to do a single task over a fixed period of time, you are far more likely to complete it, and your quality of your output is also going to be that much more higher. A great book, especially for someone like me who is constantly thinking, okay, I need to establish that, I need to do this, I need to do that, and things like that. So now what I've started, the practical strategy that I have started implementing from this book is, I always have a headphone. I always shut myself out. I put my phone away, and I put a very unfamiliar music for, I put some Afro beats, or I put some deep focus music, or cafe music, something like that I'm not familiar with, so that I'm not distracted by the music. I set my intention, what we learned from Hyper Focus, and I just go and try and execute that, right? So Deep Work is a great book if you're someone who's just trying to accomplish more with a limited amount of time, sans any distraction. The ninth book we are going to see here is, one of the best books I've read on philosophy slash productivity, which is 4,000 weeks, right? So what I learned from this book is, something very phenomenal, which is to embrace finitude. Because, I'm someone who's very, very excited by a lot of things, but at times we have to acknowledge that we don't have the time to do a lot of things. You can't squeeze out every last minute of your day, every last minute of your life to accomplish whatever you want. You just have to let go of a few things. You have to accept the fact that you can't be perfect. You have to accept the fact that, hey, you know what, I don't have the time to do this, hence I'm not going to do this. And you have to accept that you're going to be a failure in a lot of things that you try. I know I'm sounding philosophical, but that's exactly what this book helps us understand. This book is an anti-productivity book, right? Because it makes us understand that while productivity, deep work, and all those things are great, you have to not fall into the trap of squeezing every last minute of your life to do everything that you need to do. So you have to embrace finitude, and you have to ensure that you're not kind of beating yourself up over not optimizing your time to the best possible manner. So it's okay, so I don't optimize my time to the best possible manner. I have a set of must do things that I need to do. I'm happy once I accomplish them. I don't try to beat myself up saying, oh my god, okay, I could have produced 2 videos a week. Oh my god, okay, I could have written for 30 minutes more, or I could have if I had worked for 30 minutes more, I would accomplish that. I set my intentions, I embrace what I could, how much I could do, I embrace failure, and I enjoy the journey. So productivity is all about enjoyment, and this book helps you realize that. The last and the final book is Make Time by Jake Knapp and John Zeratsky. It's a collection of book that speaks about why a lot of us feel like we don't have time because of busy bandwagon and infinity pool, and they discuss a list of strategies that will help you overcome a lot of these things. In fact, it's not just about social media addiction they speak about you wasting time on a lot of things like gaming, streaming platforms, and things like that. They have some extreme tips on how you can ensure that you're making time for things that matter to you, like family, spending time on yourself and stuff like that. But it's an amazing book if you're someone who's just looking for a very, very easy yet very sophisticated read on productivity and making time to do the things that you want to do. So that sums up our 10 book recommendations on productivity, time management, and a sort of philosophy. But I just want to end up with one closing thought, friends. So as I said, as discussed in 4,000 weeks, productivity and time management isn't about you squeezing out the last minute to accomplish what you want. It's about you doing things that are important to you, you being happy with the outcomes of the things that you do, and you enjoying what you're doing, right? It's not about squeezing the last minute. It's not about having the optimum time to do everything, because we can't do everything, because we all of us have only 24 hours a day, and we all have only 4,000 weeks to live. So I hope you enjoyed these 10 book recommendations. Until I see you in the next video, this is Praveen Ramesh signing off.